Hey guys, so this will be the Mr. Speaker's Ether review. I have the Ether and the Ether closed. So I'll talk about them today. Not going to give you any history lessons, but Mr. Speaker's Dan Clark makes these headphones. He has graduated from T50RP purgatory to making a pretty high quality, supposedly proprietary ortho driver, and headphone. So, and the Ether is his best headphone today, in my opinion. So let's jump right in it. Build quality, outstanding. I love the aesthetics of these. I love the feel of them. I love the cherry red. The cherry red's great. Love the headband. It's very nice. Jeez. He's nailed down all that. The cable's great. It has these connectors. I don't know what they're called, but they pull right out. Very easy. And they go right back in. Press back in. It's very easy. So I'd say Dan has scored big win on all aesthetic and build quality fronts. He has come a long way since putting stickers on a T50RP. So yeah, great job. I'll show you what they look like. Very comfortable. Like I said, he's nailed down. Look at that shine. Wow, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful headphone. Wears well. Very high quality. A very heirloom quality. Pass this down to your kids or whatever, you know. So let's get into sound. Never been a fan of. I pretty much actively disliked all of Dan's previous T50RP mod headphones. I've heard this headphone a few times now. It's obviously superior to any T50RP. Period. Yes, no T50RP can compete with this in terms of overall fidelity. Yeah, the Alpha Dog, the Alpha Prime, and the Mad Dog were all just mediocre, and I think he's gonna stop selling them. That's a smart idea because they pale. So the Ether is kind of not really too much of a departure from Dan's house sound, but it is different. The Ether is different in that it's kind of. I think it's cleaner all around. It's cleaner and less veiled and crappy than any of the T50RP mods, right? So overall improvement, more resolving than any T50RP mod, I believe. So the thing we need to talk about though is the overall tonal balance. First, I'll talk about that. Fairly neutral. This isn't a bass boosted thing. This isn't a veiled and dark and warm thing. No, it's quite neutral-ish. So when I talk about its treble, treble is neutral, but treble has what I would call a textural coloration. It is sandy, right? It has a grit or sand to it, and that's not. I'm not sure. I don't really hear necessarily it as like a peaky HD800 thing, but it's like a textural, like things are sandy. It's hard to describe, but it's there. It's not too obtrusive, but it's there, and I think it's gonna bother certain folks, and like it kind of bothered me. Mid-range is fine. It's a typical ortho mid-range, but maybe a bit dry sounding throughout the mid-range, but everything's there. All the there's no like major problems with what I'm doing. Some people have complained about the bass. I didn't have a problem. I thought these had pretty damn good bass. People remember Marv saying it had one note bass. I didn't really get that sensation. Maybe a little bit. It didn't have like sort of the delineation or bass resolution, right, that you get with like a good other headphone. So yeah, I thought overall that was fine. So outside of this slight sandy, gritty, and by the way, I've heard this coloration with other ortho headphones, especially the Odyssey. Remember the LCD X and 3? They had that sort of grit to the treble. while the treble was tuned smoothly, there's that something in that driver or there's some problem going on there. That's it, imbuing that coloration onto it. But yeah, I didn't have any problems. Extension in both ways seemed fine. So it's a overall enjoyable listen. When I want to talk about Soundstage, it's fairly wide, no problems there. Everything's more or less placed in its right. The thing is, it doesn't. So when I'm gonna talk about the X factor, right? Like that sort of quality that you hear and like makes you want to listen to more. And that's where most orthos, and the Ether is in that category for me. It doesn't give me that utmost like want to listen transparency and like resolution, really, I guess you could say. It doesn't have the magic sauce that I get with other headphones, like mainly Dynamics have more magic sauce and less problems there in that aspect of reproduction. So it's maybe a less quantifiable thing, but it is certainly there and audible. So I don't know. I didn't feel compelled to, like some headphones I want to just pick up and listen more and more and more and more, right? I didn't get that sensation with Ether. So I think it is this is an interesting discussion to have, but it is something to do with technology. It's not just a purely subjective preference. There is something going on with the technology, that engineering in these products, audio playback gear, that has the magic sauce, or some of it doesn't. So yeah, you can take that for what it's worth. Oh yeah, and before I forget, I'll talk on the closeback. Again, like I said, it's the same thing as the Ether, very nice, and you have to give Dan credit because overall sonically these are very close to the Ether. The Ether C is very close. Very nice carbon fiber thingy there. Sonically, there's no reason to get an Ether C. I mean, if you're just looking for pure fidelity, there's no reason to get Ether C. If you want the Ether, if you like the Ether C, you're gonna like the Ether better. It is what I would consider more refined, and the Ether C it's actually thinner. It's something interesting because people think closeback is gonna be big bass and bassy right now, and the Ether C sounds thinner to me for whatever reason. It doesn't sound as refined and transparent and awesome as the Ether, so it's a downgrade in all regards. I can't. Hard for me to recommend the Ether C because it's just if you want a closed back headphone, I'd just get something cheap that does the job. You know, if you need something over work, but I guess there's a market for it and it exists. But I would not overall recommend the Ether C as what I consider poor value proposition that does not deliver the sonics on par with what you could get. I would recommend the Ether. I do think it is one of the better ortho headphones I've heard. I think top 5 probably. Top 5 orthos, I'd say. I'm trying to think. It would be on that list. I'm not an ortho fan at all. You guys know that, but it would get on the top 5 for overall high quality and sound and build and ortho strengths and all. So that's all I have to say. So thanks for watching. Yeah.